Hi guys, Andy here. Let's have a look at the Dow Jones futures. For the record, today is Thursday, November 30th. Time is around 4:15 p.m. GMT. So we have some interesting observations among the US markets today or earlier today. We took out the high right here in the Dow Jones, and this has some implications. So therefore, let's start in the higher time frame. Here we are looking at the weekly chart. And so my take on the Dow Jones is that from the March 2020 lows, we did a wave one up in the higher degree, 5 waves up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We end with divergence. Then we came down as an A, B, C, corrective move down in 3, 1, 2, 3. I believe we made a wave too low in the higher degree right here. And so then from here, from this low, if this is our wave 1, this is our wave 2, we could actually have started or wave 3 here in the higher degree. So this looks very bullish. Of course, we won't go there in a straight line. We should go there again in 5 waves, as a wave 3 is an impulse. And so I believe we are now, or we had the wave 1 of wave 3 right here. And so now the wave 2 might be in right here, or we might still be working on this wave 2. I will discuss this in a minute. So before, I also had some kind of scenario, a bearish scenario in the weekly here on my chart, assuming that this wave 2 low was not in yet, but that we would still make this wave 2 low. And then you could see it as follows. So this here then could be the wave A down in 3, 1, 2, 3. This could have been a wave B up, corrective wave B up. So A, B, which is actually not an expanded flat, but a regular flat structure. So A down, B up, getting close to the all-time high. So a regular flat structure. And then from here, we should have 5 waves down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But so now we took out the high right here. So this scenario does not longer seem likely. So therefore, I took it off the chart. And I think for now, as current price action is situated right here, or low is here, and from this low, we made a high, a low, a higher low, and now a new high. I think it's not really meaningful to put our energy in scenarios that assume that we will take out the low right here. I think it's better now to focus on scenarios that are situated here in this region. And for now, we do not have to pay attention to these kind of scenarios, the scenarios that take out the low right here. That does not mean that it is impossible, but for now, it's a waste of energy, I would say. I think it's better now to focus on what can happen here in this area. And this is what we will also do. So let's move on to the daily. Here we are looking at the daily chart. And so I believe we made a wave 1 right here, and that we came down here in a corrective way. So first of all, until my last higher time frame analysis, I was assuming that, or the scenario here in green was assuming that we were doing an A, B, C corrective move as a wave 2. So we came down in 5 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then a corrective wave B up, and then another impulse down as a wave C. However, an overshooting wave B is not possible in a zigzag structure. You can only have this in a flat structure, an expanded flat structure. And an expanded flat structure is actually saying that the wave A should take place in 3 waves and not in 5 waves. So what do we have to do now? First of all, I would like to keep my attention on a scenario assuming that this wave 2 low is not in yet. And the reason is that for me, the structure that we are seeing right here, for me, this is still 3 waves because of 2 reasons, or actually because of, let's say 2 reasons. First of all, like the obvious way to count this, in my opinion, is 3 so far. 1, 2, 3. And secondly, this is also what we are seeing now, ending way too strong, this structure. If you have an impulse, if you have 5 waves, what you typically see is that your 5th wave is ending with divergence. So you should have some kind of weaker 5th wave here to end an upward structure. And this is what we are currently not seeing in this structure. So also here on the 4-hour, this is ending way too strong in my opinion. If this is the end, it is ending way too strong in my opinion. So therefore, I prefer to classify this upward structure still as 3 waves. And if it is 3 waves, then it means that it is corrective. So there is still a possibility, in my opinion, or at least I would look or I would like to keep my eye on this kind of possibility, that we are still working on the wave 2, but then the only way to do this would be to do this as an expanded flat structure. But with an expanded flat structure, this wave A cannot be 5 waves down. Elliott wave theory is saying that your wave A should go in 3 waves in an expanded flat structure. So the structure of an expanded flat is 3, 3, 5. So 3 waves as a wave A, 3 waves as a wave B, and then the C wave is 5 waves down, is an impulse down. Now, my preference was to count this as 5 waves, as it is the most obvious count in my opinion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. However, if we want to see this as an expanded flat structure, then this count is actually no longer valid, and then we should come up with something like this. So we have to take out the 5 waves and we have to make it 3 waves. And then I would opt for wave A right here, wave B right here, and then here this wave C. So then our wave A is taking place in 3, 1, 2, 3. Then a wave B up, and then 5 waves down as a wave C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My preference was the 5 waves, but now that we took out the high right here, this is no longer possible and we have to adjust the count. Now, you could also say, Andy, why do you just, or why do you do simply not neglect the wave? Why do you simply not neglect the fact that we are working or still working on the wave 2? And why don't you assume that the wave 2 low is in right here and that we will have an impulse up from here? Well, the reason is that for now, one, this still looks corrective, 3 waves. If we would have 5 waves up, I would change my mind and I would favor a scenario where we have the wave 2 low in right here. This is the first reason. And the second reason is, if we look globally across the markets, like if we look at the Nasdaq has from this low here has 5 waves up. The Nasdaq could have made the fifth wave actually in the higher time frame. So this is the wave 3 in the Nasdaq, wave 4 down, and this could have been the fifth wave in the Nasdaq. And that means if the Nasdaq is showing a complete structure finished somewhere right here, that we can start to pull back in the Nasdaq. And so it seems unlikely while the Nasdaq is doing a correction to the downside, that the Dow Jones will give us a rally like a wave 3 of 3, which is typically the strongest wave, a wave 3 of 3, while the Nasdaq is going down. Of course, everything is possible in financial markets, but I would say it's kind of unlikely. So therefore, I would like to still keep my eye on some kind of scenario which assumes that we are working on the wave 2. So if we are working on the wave 2, then the pullback as a wave C can happen simultaneously with a pullback in the Nasdaq finishing a complete structure right here in the higher time frame. So you're free to do whatever you want, but if you ask for my reasoning why I still want to count on an expanded flat structure, why I still want to count on the possibility that we start or that we will see a pullback here as a wave C, these are the two reasons. Reason one, this structure is still, in my opinion, 3 waves, 1, 2, 3, ending way too strong. And secondly, if we look at other indices, then we might expect that the Nasdaq is ready for a pullback if it is true that the fifth wave of the Nasdaq is now ending somewhere where it is right now. If you want to have more details on this, please have a look at my Nasdaq analysis. Okay, so that would be the first scenario, the scenario in green. So one of the two scenarios, a scenario where we had our wave 1 right here, that this here cannot, or that we interpret this structure not as 5 waves, but as 3, A, B, C. And if we interpret it as 3 waves, then the expanded flat structure is still possible, overshooting wave B and then an impulse down as a wave C to go into this wave 2 area. So this is the scenario where we are still working on the wave 2. However, earlier in my higher time frame analysis, I also introduced the possibility that for the Dow Jones, we have a scenario here indicated in red where the wave 2 was in. And so then the wave 2 was a 333 correction, as you can see, WXYXZ. The reason that I introduced this secondary scenario, this scenario in red with the 333 correction, is that actually we came quite close to the wave 2 area. So if this here is our wave 1, if we take the length of this wave 1 right here, then we expect a wave 2 to go into the area between the 0.5 and the 0.854 FIB retracement. And so actually we came quite close. And at the same time, the low right here was the extreme boundary for a wave 4 in the S&P 500. So therefore, it is also not so unlikely to have a scenario that assumes that our wave 2 low is in right here. And if the wave 2 low is in right here, what we should see then from this low is an impulse up. So if we are working on the wave, or if we are working here on this wave 3, so this is the wave 1, wave 2 down as indicated in red. So then we should expect this kind of move as a wave 3, and this wave 3 has to take place again in 5 waves. And so what we have to see then is actually a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because a wave 3 is an impulse. And so what we need then is something like this: wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me put it in the right color and the right degree. So from this wave 2, we need a wave 1, and then 2, 3, 4 further up to work on the wave 3 of 3. But now, with what we have right here, what we have now, the structure right here, in my opinion, this is not 5 waves yet. So this is not a wave 1. If we would see like clearly a fourth and a fifth wave in this structure, then I would say it increases the chances that here the scenario in red is playing out. If we do not clearly have 5 waves up here in this structure, if it stays like it is now, like assume that tomorrow we start to pull back from this high right here, then I really cannot neglect the scenario of an expanded flat, because then this structure here, in my opinion, is 3 waves, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that being said, we can go to the lower time frame. If we have to count for the subwaves, I would say that this here is our wave 1 or our wave A. This here is the pullback, very shallow pullback, as a wave B or a wave 2. And so if this structure stops here in 3 waves, then I believe, yeah, this should happen somewhere in the near future, and should have like a strong ending, as we are seeing right now. We can also not extend too much as an expanded flat structure, of course. So we will soon know. I believe one of the next days, if this is 3 waves or if this becomes 5 waves. If it becomes 5 waves, then my count would be, like I said here, indicated in red: wave 1, wave 2, and then actually the wave 3 is ongoing. Then the subwaves of this wave 3 would be, in my opinion, this is the wave 1, this is the wave 2. And so now we are working, or we could be working on this wave 3. Like what we are seeing here in RSI, like the RSI that stays like on the upper side here, like it is, as you can see, it is staying above the 0 point or the 50 level. I would say this is typically something that we might see in a third wave. So this has the potential to become a third wave. However, if it stops for some reason somewhere where we are now, and if we start to pull back, then I would definitely not interpret this structure as an impulse, but I would interpret it as a corrective move up, an overshooting wave B, and then this increases the chances of the scenario in green, where we are doing an expanded flat A, B, C. So I think these are the most important observations now for the Dow Jones. Like in the lower time frame, for the moment, it does not has much meaning or value to analyze this. This is just very strong for the moment. We cannot see much here in the data. It's just going up. It looks strong. So I would say we need something that gives us an indication for a reversal. But I believe if the reversal is coming, it might be something quite aggressive, I would say. But okay, I will further discuss this in one of the next videos on the Dow Jones. For now, I shared my most important observations here in the higher time frame, in the weekly, in the daily, and the 4 hour. Okay, if you like this analysis, please like, subscribe, comment to support my work, and I see you in one of my next videos.